Hello guys, Smithy here. Today we are going to review Windwalker Rework on global server. Sit back, relax and enjoy. Welcome to the stream. Today we are going to review and let's begin. My stream just started in the background for some reason, sorry for that, but let's go. I think, yes, it all started. Alright, so first of all, let's review the skills that were changed on Windwalker, and then I will tell you the final verdict about the class itself, if it became better or not, and so on. So first of all, Wind Knife was changed, so now she can use it 2 times instead of 1. It's a flow that has additional attack. It grants as well super armor in arena while using the skill, and also stun, which is not as good but not as bad as well, because she has 2 more dazes to follow up, which was an interesting idea for the skill itself. So thing is, she leaps once and then she can press once again the skill button and like execute another skill that will do same damage and will stun as well the opponent. The trick of that skill is that you can prolong the skill cast and make your like Windwalker remain in that super armor state for quite a while, which is quite cool, giving you an extra little bit of immunity in arena. In open field, that's not such a big deal, because you will get punished and you have plenty others super armor skills instead to use. That skill can be used as a tricky way to trick your opponent. You can like cast it, then the opponent will think you are stunned and will try to use a non-immunity skill, and then you can use once again the second skill to stun the opponent. Not big deal, just a little add-on. Second skill that was changed was X-Strike. Now it's changed from a PvE skill to a more PvP oriented skill. It gains super armor in field, doesn't have in arena. It gained cannot be grabbed state while jumping, so while jumping she can be grabbed. The range was increased, and as well PvP and PvE damage was increased. Also, I think the attack speed of the skill itself was increased as well, so it became a more useful skill to use in field. As you can see, it gained quite a bit of range, so more mobility to Windwalker than before. Let's see. So there's the tree, you use the skill and she leaps quite far, to be honest. If you compare it to that skill, it's even farther than Wind Strike. Yeah, so X Strike has a even farther range than Wind Strike, so she gained a little bit more mobility than she had before, and I think it's also sort of the skill as well in range, so more mobility, but the damage itself isn't that good. It's only 340% damage times 4, which is not that good because it doesn't have branches. So I didn't use that skill in PvE. In field you can use it just for mobility sake, not for damage. Damage is bad. At last was the passive was added to Windwalker that I can't tell you from the beginning isn't a big deal. Let's check it out. So every time she uses one of the mobility skills, which is Wind Knife, Gale Harvest and X-Strike. Gale Harvest is this one, all the blinks, yeah, Wind Knife and X-Strike. All the mobility skills, every time you use it, you will proc yourself a Guidance of Wind for 15 seconds. It's a passive that you receive. Let's try it out. So as you can see, you receive Guidance of Wind for 15 seconds. So since you will be spamming these 3 skills always for movement, you will always have that passive activated on you. So what it gives? The passives will give you 30% increased movement speed, but be careful, it's not overcap, it's just movement speed. So if you already have 20% movement speed, then you won't benefit anything from the passive itself. The only way I see that you can benefit of that passive is in desert, when you have 25% movement speed decrease. In desert she won't have these problems, she will be immune to movement speed debuff. And also when you play against classes like maehwa, classes like sorceress, raven, reaper, archmage, classes that have like more than 30% debuff of movement speed. She won't be affected of these debuffs. Now maehwa will still affect her somehow, but not as much as other classes will be affected. So that movement speed is just solid number, it doesn't go over cap at all, so don't get baited by that movement speed buff. It's only cool for desert and nothing else, and for the debuffs, and that's it. Next is increases damage to other adventurers by 15%. It's just 15% PvP damage increase. Is it good or not? I don't think so. Like 15% PvP damage is cool when you have when you are in field and you have like 30% with sushi. You have like 30% of PvP damage. Yeah, let's try it out. Let's unequip this. And I have my PvP pets on that I always use for PvP, and let's see, I have 28% with sushi not enhanced, so I don't have any PvP stats on this. So 28%, I use any skill and I proc myself the buff, and now I have 43%. That's pretty cool when you use sushi and you don't have that that overcap of this stat of PvP damage. But if you equip yourself a stone, then your stat will just go overcap. And as you can see, I already have 48% in PvP arena that I can boost even further if I will receive myself a better rune of war and a better pets, for example. But I don't feel like that's a good thing for Windwalker. Like, it's already overcapped, I can't go farther than this, so not a cool stat to have. Better will be PvP damage decrease, which is harder to max out. PvP damage dealt is much easier to max, so she still has very low damage, and when your stat is overcapped, once again, it's not as good as you wanted to have it. Then the next effect is that she is immune to decrease AP DP debuffs. So which are the AP DP debuffs? Are these buffs that you have here. As you can see, target DP minus 25% or 25 DP, and here target AP minus 25%. So she will be immune to these debuffs. That will give you a like small miserable buff for open field, because you won't get decreased by all these debuffs in field. But as you all know, when you have 30k or 25k CP, 80 CP won't make a big difference. So in field, that passive isn't that good, to be honest. And for arena PvP, it's cool actually, because if you don't receive AP DP debuffs, you will always have slightly bit of a advantage above your enemy. You will always be like 30% advantage over your enemy because of that passive. That's cool for arena, not gonna lie, but that doesn't mean that she's good in arena. Her passive is nice, but just for arena. That third thing is also only for arena. And at last, increase maximum critical hit damage by 20%. That's the only great thing about that passive, because with that passive you will have 235% critical damage, maximum critical damage. So that's quite a bit of increase in damage. Not as much, because if we think it's only 35% critical chance and only 20% extra critical damage, not big of a deal. It's around 5% of damage increase, and that's all. So the passive isn't as good, not for field, not for arena either. And that's it. That's it about the buffs, the reworks. Not a big deal. She was the worst class. Windwalker was the worst class. She will still remain one of the worst class, and this passive won't save her. This change in the skill won't save her. X-Strike change is just awful. Like, you never used it and you will still you won't be using it, only for mobility sake. So she still has no damage to do. Her only damage skill is Eternal Blast, which does like double hit, and that's all. But it's a melee skill. She doesn't have range at all, like nothing to have range. So in mass PvPs she will do very bad. She will have to jump into like mass enemies and she will take lots of damage. If we compare it to Berserker, like it's not as good. Okay, so my verdict is Windwalker still remains that class that isn't good in arena, and it's even worse for open field. Alright, so let's try her out in arena PvP. I will show you once again how she plays, but nothing's changed at all. She just gained a little bit of mobility, let's say, some more super armor. Okay, he skipped me, and that's practically it. Her combos and links and animations are so awful. Yeah, that's true, that's true. The buff is not even close to what this class needs to be to become useful. Not even close. Smithy, what class is most friendly for elite warrior CP? Well, for now, the best class will be Berserker, because it's the only class that gains lots of stats from everywhere. Attack speed, good PvP resistance, great damage in terms of damage dealt in PvP and PvE as well. I can only suggest Berserker, Phantasma, and other classes that are in top list. Oh, I did exchange my my grab skill. Yeah. Give me a second, let me change it to my grab skill, and maybe we can find some enemy to face. Phantasma against Berserker PvP PvE. I'd say Berserker still wins, but Phantasma is a more ranged class. She has more range. It's all about you, what to choose. Okay, let's put my immunity in here. But Windwalker is one of the most melee classes in the game. Like, more melee than Windwalker there is non-existent. If some classes at least have some kind of ranged skills to engage, to do something, Windwalker doesn't, and that's kinda bad. Oh, also that skill is so awful. But her PvP damage, her combo damage is still at good point. Like, not gonna lie, that extra critical damage will help you do more damage in combo, and her combo still remains one of the highest in game. Like, one of the highest is she's around like 6th or 7th place regarding the damage of Stunlock combo. She's real melee class, but she's not an good assassin as, like, for example, Sura is. Sura is much better assassin than she is, and she has to be sort of assassin. And if I remember right, she was half ranged in PC version, while here she is so melee that even the most melee classes have more ranged skills than her. Yeah. What? Really? She got me. Will you stop, please? I stunned you 2 times already. And 3 times, okay. Damn, she's so bad. I mean, she doesn't have, even if she's melee, she doesn't have that interesting abilities like, for example, Striker has, that you can't get out of his combos. You can easily get out of Windwalker combo if she doesn't do it right. Easy. Grandmaster is good, I just don't like him. I think movement speed should surpass the limit. I also think that movement speed, to be good, should go over the limit. Otherwise, it will be like useless. It's so useless because every class has maximum movement speed already. And that's no point like to have movement speed above. It's for nothing. Like, you can always get yourself a gear with green stones for your farming in desert, which I never had problems with this. And the only thing is just to nullify debuffs. That's weird. Like, it's a bad joke to her, to be honest. Would be cool if she would have always like 40% movement speed instead, and she would have always like 40% during that buff. Yes, that would be cool. That will be great. That will be something new to the class. Now 30% movement speed that goes nowhere. That's weird, guys. Which class do you recommend PvE grinding? PvE grinding is AFK farm. It doesn't matter right now. Like, check my top list. I have there the. Let's check her maybe in Ramones, but I don't have my gear on. But whatever, I don't mind. How do you feel about Lan in mass PvP? I felt like she didn't have enough damage because of the spin. It wasn't enough damage for me, to be honest. Okay, no Ramones, no Arenas. I think that's more than enough, guys. Let's not prolong that class for too long. I told you my verdict. It's a bad class still. She will need at least 3 more buffs like that, or a decent buff in order to become good. But so far, Windwalker still remains in the bottom of the list of the classes. So not worth to play. I know many players that were so hyped about Windwalkers, they changed to Windwalker, and now you know what they do? They changed back to Huntress. I mean, not back, they just changed from Windwalker to Huntress because they can't change to another class. So even Huntress is much better than Windwalker, that's true. Lan is still queen. Lan is queen of arena, but not for the rest. Right now I'm thinking to switch to Sura. If I'm right, the next week he will receive the buff, the big buff, and I will switch to Sura. Thanks, guys, thanks. Okay, right now I'm gonna end the stream here, and so far for today I think it's enough. I think Sunday I will make a refresh of the top ranking list, so make sure to stay tuned. And stay healthy. Thank you guys for coming in. See you later. Bye bye.